Hey y'all, I'm Carissa and this is my channel, K Threads and Stitches. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I know it's been a while since I last was here. I think it's been several months. I was focusing more on school and work during that time, so I've got a little bit of a break here and I have the time to sit down and record and show you all the things that I've stitched and finished and worked on over the last several months. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm excited to show you what I got here. I've got a bunch of stuff. And I actually created a binder to, I've only got my FFOs, like the information that I could find for my FFOs. So hopefully this one's a little more organized than the last couple of videos I've had. Sorry if you see Lady in the corner there. When I start talking, she gets all excited and she starts moving a lot. So I created the binder. I've got a whole bunch of tabs here, but again, I've only got my FFOs in here, and I decided from Primrose Cottage Stitches in their boxes that I've had, they have stickers sometimes, so I put all of my stickers in the binder there, just in the front, and I'll work on the back part if I get more in the future. So, but okay, so I'm just gonna get started. The first finish that I have, so we're going all the way back to October, Halloween finishing, because that's how long it's been since I've been here. So my first one is Primrose Cottage Stitches. This is called Happy Haunting Home. I've probably showed all of these, I think, already on my Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have already seen these, but I'll talk about the details of these. So this is stitched on 32 count linen in the color Midnight Ride by XG Design. The bows are from, like the ribbon on the bows is from Hobby Lobby, I believe. I don't remember where I got the little skeleton guy there up at the front. The fabrics are from Primrose Cottage Stitches, some bundles that they've had. And then the colors that I stitched with, I used Zach Black by Classic Colorworks, Aunt Marie's Violet, Snowball, Queen Bee I think is the yellow, but I'm really not sure, Raven by Gentle Arts, and Pumpkin Pie by Gentle Arts. So, and then I finished this on a piece from Hobby Lobby, and the number on the back is HL9175853. So this piece fit perfectly on this. This is probably, I think this is something that I had laying around for a good while. And this one also didn't sit up right, so down here at the bottom I made some hot glue dots to kind of rise it up so that it didn't fall forward on its face, because it would do that before I put the hot glue dots down at the bottom. But so that is my first finish. And then my second finish is, this one's a small one. So this is from the Stitching with the Housewives month to month October. I didn't finish the whole ensemble. I just did the small circle finish. So as you can see on the pattern here, sorry for the glare, the little circle up at the top that says pumpkins. So I have the little white barn, or I say little, but you know, the barn from Hobby Lobby. And up at the top is where I put the circle finish, and I got the tart pan from Amazon. But this is the finish that I've done for this piece. So for this in particular, I used all of the called for colors. So I had signed up previously, because I think this series was from last year. I had signed up for the subscription from Fat Quarter Shop, so it came with all the flosses, and I just bought my fabric. So I used 28 count Lugana in the color Antique White by Zweigart, and the colors are Black Coffee, Bean Sprout, Hazelnut, and Pumpkin Harvest for this. It is a circle finish. I got the fabric from like the little orange fabric in the back. That also came from a bundle from Primrose Cottage Stitches. It's something that I already had. And yeah, so nothing super spectacular about that piece, but I definitely enjoyed stitching that one. I'll probably do all the small ones first. I don't really know unless there's one that I come along and see and I really want to stitch the whole thing, but I enjoyed smalling stitching the smaller piece of that. So I'll see how it goes in the future, but I'm excited to at least have that. Okay, sorry about that. I had to turn the TV off. It was flashing all kinds of different colors, and it was messing with the color on the camera here. Okay, so the next finish that I have, this is Pumpkin Spice Farm from Hands On Design. Hold on, I'll hold up the pattern first. I actually took all the patterns out and put them in my little page protector so that I would have them ready this time. So this is what it looks like from the pattern. And then my finish of this is this right here. So again, you've probably seen this if you follow me on Instagram. Unfortunately, I think this is one of the ones, yeah, I can't remember the count or the color of the fabric that I stitched this on, but I think I was able to locate all of the colors that I stitched with. The fabric is by XG Design, I just don't know what the color is. The colors that I stitched on here are Snowball by Classic Colorworks, Thundercloud by Classic Colorworks, Straw Hat, Desert Mesquite, both by Classic Colorworks, and then Pumpkin Pie by Gentle Arts. So the original of this had some blue in it, and the blue was up here at the top where the little Smyrna stitches are. But I swapped those out just for the orange. I had started stitching it, and I think because of the color of fabric that I chose, it just didn't go very well with that color of fabric. So I just decided to do all of it orange. And then the background fabrics, both of those are from, again, Primrose Cottage Stitches bundles that I had gotten previously. I love these. I think they turned out really well to go with this piece. And the ribbon, I've just had this in my stash. I don't really remember where I got these from. The bell, I don't remember where I got the bell from. I had one or two like little boxes of maybe like 6 to 8 bells, and they have maroon and white bells in it, so that's what I use for the bell. And the cutting board I got several years ago from Target Dollar Spot, so I don't know if Target comes out with these every year, like the same round of stuff, but I got this several years ago. But yeah, I'm super happy with the way this turned out. I really enjoyed stitching it. It stitched up really fast, and I got to display it this year, so that was great. Alright, so the next one that I have is this is called I Love Fall Most of All by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This came out of a one of their boxes that they did, and it came with all of the called for colors in the box and the pattern. So I stitched it with all the called for colors. This is my finish of it here. As you can see, I really loved the patterns that they came out this year with the fall and how they incorporated the blue. I think the blue looks really good. I never would have thought to use blue for, you know, like fall patterns, but that is, it's stunning. I think it looks really good. So I stitched this on, hold on one second. I stitched this on 28 count linen in the color brown paper by XG Design. Actually, the only color that I swapped out on this was the black. It called for black coffee, and I switched out for Raven by Gentle Arts. Everything else is the same. The fabrics in the background, these here, this brown and this orange, they came from Fat Quarter Bundles from Primrose Cottage Stitches, and the ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. I have a rustic bell there in the middle up at the top. I've really enjoyed using these rustic bells lately. I have a whole bunch of them. I bought them a while ago and I hadn't used them yet, so I've really started using them here lately. And these picks, I've had these for a while. These were actually, I think, part of a wreath that I had made, I don't know, probably 3-4 years ago, and all the stuff has just been falling off of it. So I've been taking the picks out and they're all fall themed, and I just pulled those from that. So I've had that for a good long while. But the piece that I actually mounted this on, this is from Hobby Lobby. I got this earlier this year, and it was on clearance for about $3. And the number on the back is 2059335. It was a beach theme type piece, but it fit really well with this. So I also got to display this year. I'm really excited about it. And as soon as I got it in the mail, I stitched it immediately. It was super cute. So it went with the other one that they came out with, the Autumn Alphabet, which I love that one too. That one was fantastic. So yeah, I got to display that one. Okay, so the next thing that I got, I feel like this is going really fast because I sat down and wrote down what I could before doing this video. The next thing that I have is I stitched up a few more of the pillows from Brenda Gervais, and this comes from the booklet Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee. I think all of these are super cute. Hopefully next year I will get to the last couple of these to finish. I'm going to show an older one that I did, I think last year. But I did make a change to the finishing on it. So this is the Ghosts and Goblins one. And I didn't have any rickrack around it. And I think that it really needed, because the shape was a little wonky. I didn't stuff it very well when I made it. So I think the rickrack, just putting the rickrack around the border of it really helped to stabilize and not make it look so bumpy everywhere. But this is rickrack from Lady Dot Creates in the color Goldfish that I added to the around here. And I just used some cheap fabric glue from Hobby Lobby when I put that up there. So at the bottom, you can probably see, if it'll focus, where I joined up there, and somehow it just really met up well. But you can still see that it was cut there. So, but it works for me. It's on the bottom of the pillow, so nobody's gonna see it anyway. But the three that I finished, so I finished, here's my first one. I've got it sitting in a bowl of all this stuff, and it's sticking to it. This one is called Broomhilda. It's really tiny. I expected this one to be a little bit bigger. I cannot remember what the name of this fabric is. I tried to look at some older videos and see if I had mentioned it, and I couldn't remember it back then either. So I don't know what the fabric is. I do know that it's by XU Design. I've had it for a good long while. And I finished it similar to the first one that I just showed you, but I decided to use a brown rickrack from Lady Dot Creates instead. And I think this one is Bird's Nest. And the colors that I used for this, so I'll hold this up here while I read you the colors. Snowball, Avocado, and Hickory Sticks by Classic Colorworks. Fragrant Cloves, Grecian Gold, Raven by Gentle Arts, and Oscar by Weeks Dye Works. So, and then on the back I used a really cute, I don't know what that's called. What is that? It's not checkered and it's not plaid, but it looks like a little like diamond shape. But anyway, it's super cute. And then as you can see, I really wanted to try out the filling the pillow by having a split in the back. And I had seen, I was watching somebody's Flosstube, but I don't remember the name of it, so I apologize. But she did say in her video, it was a tutorial about closing it up the way that I've done this on the back. Because as you can see, it's from the top all the way to the bottom. Because basically what you have to do is you have to take 2 halves of the fabric and then you'll iron on where this line is. You'll take maybe like 3/4 of an inch or an inch or something, or 1/2 inch, however much you want, and iron a line down so that it gives you a smooth line, and it's not the raw edge. And you'll sew it together somehow. I'm drawing a blank now. I sewed it together, and then you leave a little bit, like a little hole in the middle, so that you can whip stitch it. So I usually whip stitch the bottom of my pillows, but it always bunches up the bottom of my pillows because I'm not very good at whip stitching. I think I need a lot more practice, but it turned out okay. I just I like the back of my pillows to be completely flat, but I still think it's cute. I just added a little bow. This ribbon I got from Walmart, I think early in the year. It came in like a little tube, a little stacked tube. But yeah, so I covered that up. I used the bow on the back to cover the whip stitch because my whip stitching doesn't look very good. But yeah, so that's my first one. It was super teeny tiny. I wasn't expecting that one to be as small as it was. And the next one that I have here, this within the book, this one's called Trick or Treat. Use the same fabric, use the same colors. I use the same rickrack down along the side there, and I always put these pins with the years on them. I try to remember to put them on the back anyway. And I did the same thing on the back, as you can see, as I was talking about with the little pillow here, but I decided to try and put the rickrack all the way across the back. I don't really care for it being that way, but once I had done it, there was no way I was pulling it off, so I just left it. But I will say, having that space from the back and where you fill it, because I filled it with poly pellets first, that really kind of helps smooth it out a lot. I think these look better than most of my pillow finishes doing it that way. I just wish that the back was completely flat and open. Kind of like, I'll show you this one here in a minute, but the back of this one is just, you know, just one solid piece. I like that for my pillows, but there's nothing wrong with having an open back either. Okay, so the next one that I have is, this one's called Pumpkin Brew. It's got the little witch with the spider web in the corner. I really thought that spider web was not going to show up because of the fabric that I used, but I really love this. I think it's super cute. So again, all of the same colors, same rickrack, and if it'll focus, I don't think it's going to. And then the same fabric on the back as well. But this time I just stuffed it and whip stitched the bottom for this one. So now they all sit in a bowl, and I can show you here in just a second. Oh wait, I have this one on this side. I have them all sitting in a bowl like this. So as I finish all of them, they'll all, whoops, they'll all sit in this here each year. So I've got those, but I'm super happy with how those turned out, and I'm glad I got to learn a new trick. I might try and use that a little more often with the split back, and just depending on what kind of fabric it is that I'm using back there. It was kind of hard to line up the type of fabric that I used on the back, but I still think it looks okay. Okay, so the next one that I have, I had hoped to do all three of these, but I think that I always overestimate how much I can actually get done. I was doing a lot of homework, and I was, in one of my classes, I was having a hard time with one of the classes that I had, which was really why I took a step back and just made sure that I could get done with that class and make sure that everything went well with it. So I didn't get to all three, but I have one. This is When Witches Go Riding by Brenda Gervais. I think this was a re-release, like it was released once, I don't know how many years ago, but I heard anyway that this was a re-release, but if I could be wrong. But I decided to do one of them. I think this might be this is the third one. I didn't do the first two. So this is the first one that I did. And I really liked the way this turned out. I didn't think it was going to turn out this good. I stitched this on 28 count linen in the color Dirty Brown by XU Design. And I couldn't figure out all of the colors, but I'm fairly certain that I used as many of the called for colors as I possibly could. Usually the things that I sub out are the DMCs. I'll use it for an overdyed. And then the lace trim around here is Lady Dot Creates. And then I used a Teresa Kogut Halloween fabric, which I think is super cute. I love that fabric. But I used poly pellets. I managed to somehow get the poly pellets in all 4 of the corners on this one, which I think is why it looks so good in the corners. I mean, compared to my normal pillows. My pillows don't normally look very good in the corners, but I think this one looks alright. And it just looks fairly stretched out and flat on the edges for the most part. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to get at least one of them done. And for this one in particular, I've been trying to move outwards from the edge of my stitching so that maybe I can get it to show more when I do pillow finishes like this. So I did 3/4 of an inch, I believe, around the edging, you know, because I usually do a 1/2 inch, and I think a 1/2 inch works, but it's just a little bit closer, and I think I don't want it too far away to where it just looks like I've got a bunch of negative space from the edge of the pillow to the stitching. But I decided to try to go out 1/4 of an inch, and I was pretty happy with that. So, but yeah, I also fit that one into my bowl here for now, which those will get put up now that I've finally been able to show them on the video. So I'm excited that I was able to show those. Alright, so my next one, I've actually been working on this one for a really long time. I feel like it's been a long time anyway. I know it's been well over a year. It might even be more than 2. But this is Jingle Bell Cafe by Stitching with the Housewives, which is super cute. I would like to get to the Santa's Hot Cocoa, something that I bought it like a couple years ago, or a year, however long, whenever it came out, and it was available on PDF. I would love to stitch that one, but you'll see here in a minute, I've been stitching all types of snowman stuff. But this is my finish for this piece here. I did stitched it with all the called for colors, and then I used the 28 count black Jobleen Lugana to stitch it on. So, and then Priscilla's Pretty Plaids in red and white, and then stitching stripes from Stitching with the Housewives. I still love these Smyrna crosses in the Santa's beard. That is just the cutest thing ever. But this is my finish. And then the bow from the top here, I followed a tutorial from Nicole Spore's YouTube channel, so if you go find her, she has a really good instructional video on how to do this type of bow right here. And then I think I got these ribbons a while back from Hobby Lobby, and the little Santa here up in the ribbon, that is also from Hobby Lobby. And this piece that I have it mounted on, I actually bought this several years ago from Joann Fabrics, and it was from their Halloween stuff. I bought several of these, and I happened to find it because I didn't have anything to mount it on. I actually had this sitting out by itself without being mounted on anything for a couple weeks. But I was super happy when I found it and I took a look at it. It did have all this space up here, of course, but I was like, I might be able to make that work if I can do the right type of bow or put something up there that would not take away too much from the stitching. This is such a good pattern. I love this. So I've had it sitting out. It actually sits on the other side of my sofa table here. All right. Okay, so the next thing I've got here, this was actually my first Christmas stitch of the year. Fully finished. I was super excited when I did this and finished it. So this is, let me pull the, I couldn't fit this one in my binder, which I wanted to keep it in the bag anyway, just because of, I haven't finished everything in it. So I've only done like 1.5 of these. So this is from Hands On Design. This is A Year of Celebration Season 2. I really would like to get that January one next. But if you can see down here in the corner, that December one with the 3 houses, super cute. I had already, like a while ago when I got this pattern in the mail, this has probably been a year or 2 ago, probably more so 2 years ago. I had got all the called for colors. I got the fabric, and then the fabric is 28 count linen in the color Desert Sand by XU Design. I've already cut out all the squares for it. So all I need to do is stitch it. That's literally all I need to do. I've got the colors in the bag. I've got the pattern. I've got my pieces cut out, and I just have to stitch them when I feel like I'm ready to stitch one. So here is my finish of this. I really love the way this turned out. So I did this on a flat finish. I did get this piece from Hobby Lobby to mount it on, but I tore off the paper on the back, not the sticker, but there was a piece of paper covering the back, and the sticker was on that paper and did not write down the number. But I do know that this had the word home on it, and I had to pry it off of it so I could mount this. But I did use all of the called for colors on here, except for probably the white. The white is Snowball. These picks I got from Hobby Lobby. The ribbons, Hobby Lobby and Walmart. The white one is from Walmart. And the little deer up there at the top, I got that from Hobby Lobby. It was in a little pack of, I don't know how many, but you know, a few. Excuse me. And then the fabrics back here, these are Teresa Kogut from her Christmas line this year. Some little green stripes and snow on some red fabrics. So I'm super happy with the way this turned out. I think that brown color really, I think that's going to look really good with all of the different designs. So, okay. So, on to the next one. I've got, I think, 3 more here. This one is Jolly Happy Soul by Brenda Gervais. I'll turn it this way. As you can see, it just says Frosty, and it's got a little snowman and some branches and stuff. Super cute. I stitched this on 32 count linen in the color Frappuccino by XU Design. I used as many called for colors as I could. I don't remember if I changed any, and I didn't save the colors, of course. I've got some burgundy looking rickrack from Lady Dot Creates, you know, going around the edge here. And then on the back, for the backing fabric, I used, again, that same fabric, the red snowfall fabric from Teresa Kogut on her Christmas line for this year. Sorry, the lighting in here is not very good. And then I've got little rustic bells down here at the bottom. Those were a little difficult to work around when it came to whip stitching the bottom, because I actually put those in, I think, before I stuffed the pillow, but after I had already sewn everything around the edge. But I made sure I left a big enough hole to where I could pretty much get most of my hand inside the pillow. I just used a bunch of like DMC white thread down there at the bottom, and then just weaved it through the top of the bells. But you can't really see it when it's sitting in the bowl, but it's a lot of fun to pick it up and just have the bells jingle. Alright, so the next one that I have is another Brenda Gervais pattern. This is one I think that came out last year. This is called Rudolph and Friends. And I actually got this along with a, I think a kit from Kitten Stitcher last year or something. And it came with all the called for colors. So I definitely used every color in it is the called for colors. And I used the same fabric as that last one. So this is 32 count linen in the color Frappuccino by XU Design. And I put some more little rustic bells. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got one that actually looks like a bell, not like a circle bell. I didn't know it, but when I bought the little circle bells, there's several of these other ones in there. And I just happened to be pulling these out to put this on here, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And I didn't know if it would, yes, you're cute too. Lady looked up at me as soon as I said that. I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, I got all the bows, or the little bells up there in a cluster. So I strung them on the same string, and I had actually put these on after the whole pillow was done. After I'd stitched it, whip stitched it and everything. So if you can see here up at the back corner, I just put it, you know, right through the back of it and then tied it in a bow in the back. So if it ever came to a point that I wanted to take them off, I could. But yeah. And then this fabric on the back, I think this came from a bundle from Primrose Cottage Stitches a while ago. And then I've just got some white rickrack from Lady Dot Creates around the edges of it. So, but yeah, I like the way this one turned out. I've been displaying this one this year, and I think it's really cute. It was a quick stitch as well. Alright, so my last finish, I think a lot of people are stitching this one. This one came out this year, and I haven't got to the other one with the 3 little reindeer, the Reindeer Games pattern, but I did get to this one. This one is Snow Magical by Brenda Gervais. And it is a circle finish, so I don't know if I've mentioned, but if the circles are not already cut out for me, I don't really like doing circle finishes because I hate cutting circles. I think that my circles, when I cut them out, you can see the indentions from when I'm trying, like, you know what I mean? Like cutting around it. I don't know how to make those look super smooth, but I decided I had a different vision in my mind when I was trying to, you know, figure out how I was going to finish this. Like I wanted to, where it rounded out on the edges, have like a little corner piece, and I couldn't in my brain figure out how to get it to still be square, but put a different fabric in the corner, if that makes sense. So, and then I also noticed after I had started, I had so much of it done, there was no way I was going to restart or rip it out. I had 1/2 inch on one side to work with, and I knew I was going to finish this as a pillow. So I had to do what I had to do to make it work by putting this border around the front of it. So if you can see right here where it rounds out, I wanted a straight line, but like a triangle piece of fabric in each of the corners. I just couldn't figure out how I could do that. So and even with what I had, I don't think it would have worked because I didn't have enough. It was this side over here. So I luckily had just enough to do this border, you know, and I did a border around, I don't remember how many inches this is, but I did that, and then I used this fabric on the back. So both of these fabrics are from Primrose Cottage Stitches and their fat quarter bundles. And then as you can see, I've got the rustic bells. I've got 4 clusters of 3, and then I did the same thing on that last pillow. Don't mind the dirtiness that's from the rustic bells touching those, and then I just put them through on the back. and then tied bows, so if I want to remove them I can. But I will say I don't know that I would ever want to remove them because the rustiness is, I figured out that it will rub off on your fabric if you're not careful. It will get on your hands, and if you touch other things that you don't want to look dirty, it will make it look dirty. And you can't, I don't know that you can get it off, but I can see on here that it's like that. But for this I used most of the called for colors. I think the only thing that I really changed was instead of Really Tilly for the sweater, I used Lettuce Leaf by Classic Colorworks. I think that that one is super pretty, and I also have 3 other Brenda Gervais pillows that use that color from her, I think it's the Snowball booklet, which I wanted to get a couple more of those done this year, which I don't think I'm going to get to, but I think everything else is mostly the called for colors for this. But it's massive. This pillow is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So, okay. Well, that is my last FFO. I'm going to go into whips. I don't think I have like a massive amount of whips, but I do have a few. So, as always, I've got these in my project bags. I think this one's super cute. I got all the project bags that I have that I'll be showing today, except for maybe one, are from Pam's Needle and Thread. If you have not checked out her Instagram and her Etsy shop, you should. I love her bags. They're the perfect size and they are so well made. They're all quilted in the back if you get the vinyl front ones, and it's just really good quality. I love these. And she uses beautiful fabrics. So, alright, so I'll get into a couple of my whips here. I've got a few in this first bag, so I apologize. Alright, so I'm going to start with this corner up here. I am stitching, this is from Tralala, and it's just called Santa, and this is the pattern. This is what it looks like. I had to use, I had to pick my own colors, and I think that I'm using all of Color and Cotton. If I can pull them all out here. I just want to make sure I don't miss any. Okay. So I'll read you the colors from Color and Cotton here. I'm using all the colors that I've gotten from previous subscriptions. So the red is called Clara. Oh, maybe I should just show it like this. I've got Spool for one of the browns, Macrame, Sargasso Sea for a yellow, Winter Spruce for the darkest green, Barrel Cactus for the medium green, and Dewdrop for the light green. I've got Tightrope for the silvery white looking color, Coal for the black, Grandfather Clock for a dark brown, and Wooden Soldiers for a little bit of a lighter brown. I don't know if y'all can see that. I think it keeps trying to focus on my face, but all Color and Cotton colors. And I had to use 3 different greens, so as you can see, the tree itself is 3 different colors, and I like the way that these kind of contrast against each other. This is stitched on 32 count Milk Chocolate by XU Design. So this is all that I have for it. I hope to finish this before the end of the year, but if I don't, I'll put it away and stitch it hopefully next year. If not, then it'll sit here till I do stitch it. Okay, So the next one that I have, this is called Sip Stitch Repeat by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This is a Christmas design, super cute. And because I have some silks that I've never used and they're just sitting right now. I am actually stitching this with silks. I didn't use the called for colors, but I'm only stitching it with silks because I just have them laying around. Silks can be quite expensive. So I'll read you the colors here. I put these on some plastic floss drops that I got from Amazon several years ago. And these are all MPI silks. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get my stuff together here. Alright, so I've got a green that is, I think that says 355 lot 9. I don't know if the lot numbers mean anything. This white is 991 BB for the white. This is called Black Coral. Actually, this one is Dinky Dyes. So this is Black Coral by Dinky Dyes. This one is Melon Range Color 575 by MPI for the red. This one is color 475, lot 9, and it's in the Marigold Yellow range for one of the browns, for the lighter brown. And then I've got, this is also in the Marigold Yellow range in the color 479 for a darker brown. And the green here that I have, this is in the Pistachio Green range in the color 353, lot 9. So, super pretty. I've only got one other project that I've used silks for, and I think that working with silks is great. They're super smooth when you stitch with them, and they're a dream to work with, but they are very expensive. So this is all the colors together. So kind of like I think anyway, kind of some standard Christmas colors that I chose for that. But this is my start on this. This is what I have so far. This one is stitched up pretty quickly, and I hope to finish it soon. And it's also on, I don't know if I said this already, I've been talking about the flosses too long, 32 count milk chocolate by XG Design. So I actually have this one on a corner, like from the last one I just showed you, and then this one's on the other side, so it's just on the same piece. But that is that one. And I plan to stitch, so I also have the Warm Winter Wishes pattern here, and I'll stitch it with the same flosses and the same fabric for that. Okay, so my next whip, I'm striving to finish this one this year. I really want to finish it. This is Country Cottage Needleworks. This is the pattern called Silent Night. Super cute. As always, I love Country Cottage Needleworks. And I'll pull out the colors here and tell you what I'm using. I've only got one in this bag. Sometimes I'll have like 3 or 4 projects in one bag, and all of the flosses are in there and they get all mixed up, and I half the time I couldn't even tell you what was what. I have to guess myself when I'm stitching it, and if I leave it for a long time it makes it even harder. Okay, so for the colors that I'm using, I've got Garden Trellis. I don't think I'm using that one actually. Okay, I'm just gonna pull that one out. I'm using Snowball and Magnolia Blossom from Classic Colorworks. I've got Chives and Wood Trail from Gentle Arts. I've got White Lightning from Weeks Dye Works, Cocoa from Weeks Dye Works, and I've got 3023 from DMC. I really love the color White Lightning from Weeks Dye Works. I think that is one of the coolest variegated whites, especially when it's stitched all together. Okay, so I'm stitching my piece on 28 count linen in the color Bonnie Blue by the dyer Flower Thread. And I've shown this before, but I've made some good progress in the last like week or so. And this is where I'm at so far. So as you can see, I finished the church. I got the snowflakes in this morning. So all I have left to do are the trees, the snow, and then just that bottom piece down here, which I think will not take very long at all. I think the trees and the snow will take the longest. But I'm super excited to finish this. I think I already know what piece I'm going to finish it on. I've had it for several years, so just hoping to get this one and display it right before Christmas. I think if I sat down long enough, I could probably get that one done. Alright, and again, this is in one of my Pam's needle and thread bags that I store this one in. Okay, so okay, this is what I have here. This is When Pumpkins Glow. This is one of the newer releases from Brenda Gervais this year. And I think that I'm using as many of the called for colors as I possibly can. I'm just trying to see if I can find, of course, I've lost the tag for the fabric, but this is what I have so far. I'm using most of the called for colors. This is one of those bags where I just have a massive amount of floss in here and there's no way I'm going to be able to tell what's what. So I've just about got the grass done down there on the bottom. I've got one of the pumpkin people and, you know, a little bit of the words. But I don't know what the fabric is. I don't know what the count is. And, ooh, this needle is just running wild back here. But yeah, I had hoped to finish this one this year as well, but maybe next year I can get to it. I think I got to a lot of the harder pieces, like these flowers and stuff and how they're all separated. Doing all that counting can take a good deal of time, so I think I got most of the flowers. A lot of the other stuff, the fill-in for the pumpkin boy and all that, I think will probably take the longest, but I'll be excited when I can finish that and display it. I don't think I have anything else in here. Oh, this might actually be, I think this is actually the fabric color. This is 28 count linen, the color Dirty Brown by XU Design. I think that's what that is. Alright, on to my next one. So I don't know if I really don't remember if this is actual progress from my last video or if I'm just showing you the same thing. But I know at one point, I think this, so this is Lizzie Kate's Christmas Rules. This is what it looks like, the whole thing on one of the patterns. So these come in little leaflets and you get 2 patterns per leaflet, and there's 12 little sections all together, and the top and the little border things are free download from Lizzie Kate. But this is what I have so far, and I have taken out some of the colors. I've changed the colors to be more just red, maroon, and light and dark greens with white. So I really like how this has turned out. I took out all the pink, I took out all the blue, and there's nothing wrong with pink or blue. I think those are super cute. The pattern, the way that it was designed, is beautiful. I just, for my decor particularly, I wanted to try something a little different to match what I have already stitched in my, in what I display currently. So this is what I have so far. I'm almost halfway done with this. So I wanted to get it done this year. I don't think I will. But I'll be honest, each section, like each little pattern out of the two, it might take me 2-3 hours just to get one done, because it's mostly words and then little motifs. So, and then this is stitched on 28 count Lugana in the in the color mushroom. I tried to say both of those words at the same time there, in the color mushroom. So, but that's what I have so far, and I've got a super long piece here. I think it's longer than I need, but better to have more than what you need than not enough. So I do have the colors in here. I'll read you the colors that I have, but so I had a question about this a few videos ago, and I probably should try and find that comment, and if I can, pin it to the top, just in case anybody's curious. I alternate between the two. So I've got like the Christmas red, I think it's the Louisiana hot sauce and English ivy. So I'll use these two together, and then I'll alternate. So each leaflet, I'll use the red for one, and then the green for one, and then the next leaflet I will use a different red and green, and this is Red Rocks and Grasshopper that I'm using. And I've got some other greens and stuff throughout the pattern, and some browns, just for branches and stuff. So for the branches, I've got Hazelnut by Weeks Dye Works. For any gold pieces, I'm using Grecian Gold. I've also got Finley Gold here, but I don't think I've used it yet. If I needed to do any black, I've got Black Coffee. I've been using Snowball for the white. And I've also got the color Oscar here for, I think there was, I'll show you here. So if you see the little tree branch that the cardinal is sitting on there, that's the type of stuff that I used it for. But if you can see, like, this would be the English ivy, the Louisiana hot sauce, grasshopper here, and then Red Rocks here, back to English ivy, and then I'll use Louisiana hot sauce for this one. So it's just an going back and forth with the colors so that they alternate. Alright, and I've actually got this one in a Dot Goose design bag. She makes super pretty bags as well. She has pretty project bags. And then hers, she also sells the little project pals with hers as well sometimes. Or I think sometimes she'll sell them separate, and if she has enough, she'll do a little bundle where you can buy them together. I love the Santa fabric on this one. Okay, so the next one that I have, this is a very small start, and I guarantee you this one will end up kind of like my other ones. So I have, I think it's called Santa's Workshop or something by Country Cottage Needleworks. You know, the big one that has like 12 patterns, 12 houses, and it's like this big thing. So I have the one from Big City Christmas. This is one of the more recent ones. So I started the first one. This is the department store. And I'm using all of the called for colors, no changes. And I'm stitching this on 28 count mushroom Lugana. And I'm planning to stitch this as all one piece. And that's all I got. I just got a little bit of the roof, a little bit of that top border, and that's it. I think this is long enough. I hope it's long enough. I think I measured it. I probably did. I usually try to measure and make sure I get things the right size. Sorry, I'm talking too much. When I start talking a lot, my throat starts getting scratchy and it makes me feel like I need to cough. Okay, so I've only got a few left here. And this is another one that I don't know if I showed it in my last video, but I made some really good progress this year. This is a 4th of July stitch. This is Brave Hearts by Little House Needleworks. And I'm stitching this with the called for Belle Soie silks. This is the other pattern that I'm using silks for. Okay, so I'm stitching this on 28 count Jobling by Witchelt in the color Water Lily. And this is the progress that I have. I've got a good amount of the words in. I got the birds, the flag, I got the house finished. So I really just have, that bottom half of the pattern, and a lot of it is words, which should go by pretty quick. So, but yeah. So all the called for Belle Soie silks for that by Classic Colorworks. And hopefully I'll get that one done by this upcoming 4th of July so I can display it. Okay. So my next pattern this is by Brenda Gervais. This is Mr. Marshmallow. I think he is super cute. I have the little buttons that come with it as well. I don't know if I bought these separate or if it came with the pattern. I don't remember. But I'm stitching this on. This is 28 count Lugana Even Weave by Fiber on a Whim in the color Cypress. So I've got the cup outlined, I've got the snowman outlined, and his little cup in his hand. So I've got, some good fill-in stitching ready to go. And I'm using lettuce leaf down here, to match what I already have from Brenda Gervais. I think I may have tried to use most of the called for colors for everything else, but I don't know. I got a lot of greens in here, which makes me think that maybe I was trying to find a green and I wasn't sure which one to use. Okay, so the colors that I have for this is Melon Patch by Gentle Arts, Shutter Green by Gentle Arts, Grape Leaf by Gentle Arts, Ladybug by Classic Colorworks, Corn Husk by Gentle Arts, Cherry Tomato by Classic Colorworks, Lettuce Leaf, Sticks and Twigs, Poblano Pepper, Trail Dust, Snowball, and then from Weeks Dye Works I have Blue Spruce, Fawn, Hibiscus, and Persimmon. So these are all the colors that I have out for this to stitch that on, and I have it in my Pam's Needle and Thread bag. These are some Therese Kogut fabrics from her Christmas line. Super cute. I really love the quilting lines. I think it's so cute. So yeah. I'm hoping to work on this one sometime soon. I would like to also get this one done this year, but I don't think that I will. So just one last look at it here. This is where I'm at with it. All right. I've only got a couple whips left. Okay, so I know I've probably talked about it in my last video or maybe one before it. But Primrose Cottage Stitches, the sale has come and gone, and here I am. I'm still at the very beginning. So this is Welcome to the North Pole by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I plan to stitch this just as it is. I've got all the called for colors, the called for fabric, and I have not gotten very far with it. As you can see, I've just got the snow to fill in for the top part. So it'll probably be a while before I finish it, but I still love this a lot, and I think that it is a beautiful pattern. I can't wait to get to the rest of it. I really love the little Santa and Mrs. Claus down there at the bottom. Look at how cute they are. So, and then this is also stored in one of my Pam's Needle and Thread bags. Alright, so I got one more whip for you, and it is a Halloween whip that I started. My hair was stuck on something there. This one is from Stitching with the Housewives. This is the monthly weigh-in. So this is the Halloween one. It's got a sticker up there on the front, I'm sorry. But this is the pattern. I think it's super cute. So I'm actually using the Desert Sand 28 count linen by XU Design for this, and I'm going to use this for all of them. A couple years ago I bought enough to last me a lifetime, and I think I have enough here to, I think this is a 1 yard cut, but this is my start on this. And yeah, I don't have very much on it, but I really want to do the weigh-ins. I think they're really cute. So that was my start for that one. I really like the house on this one, how it has the purple roof and the black house, and it looks a little bit different from their traditional stitching on black, because a lot of their other patterns, their older patterns, are stitched on black. I do love the black stitching though, because it looks really good. All the colors tend to pop on that fabric. But this is also stored in one of my Pam's Needle and Thread bags. So, okay, well that is all that I have to show. I don't have any haul. I don't have any I don't have anything else to talk about for cross stitching today, but I don't know that I'll be back any more often, but I'm no longer in school, so hopefully that gives me back some extra time to, one, to be able to stitch, and two, to be able to come back and spend some time with you guys and sharing what I have and talking with you guys. The last couple of videos I have not really had a chance to get in and get to all the comments as I would have liked. I usually try to get in there when it you know, I first post the video and people start commenting and comment back. But I really do appreciate everyone who likes and comments on the videos, who even just watch the videos. It's very heartwarming. This community is such a great community to be a part of, and I thank you guys for welcoming me as a part of it. So with that, I will leave you guys, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope to see you sometime soon. All right, bye.